Alright, well. Yeah, thanks. Hey, so, doing pretty good, 10 to 15. Well, for those of you who have been living under a rock for the past couple of weeks or months, my name's Matt Cobra. I'm a RCMP Captain, like 500-time mayor, 4-time mayor actually. I'm Matt Cobra, 4-time mayor of Prince Edward Island. I lead the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and I was a sergeant in the Pandahut Sheriff Department. I've been playing Panda for a bit over a year now, probably, I'd say, around a year and a half. No, a year and a half, a year and 2 months. I seriously got into it, I think, almost a year ago. I seriously, just started playing it, as a serious role player a while ago. I mean, that's when I started, at least, playing it seriously. Because, I was around, I just didn't play it, as seriously as I could have. Back. So, yeah, basically, well, the first time, I got banned for KOS, I mean, who wasn't? What happened was, I was a chef, right? And I played on 10, of course. And I was a chef, and then I became a small-time berry farmer. And then I actually, became a police officer on 10. And I know this is gonna sound crazy, right? But I think the police department back then was even worse than it was now. And, I left 10, I stopped playing 10 altogether, I started playing on 13 until around December, and I started the Mafia on 10. So yeah, and I started 13 as just an RCMP. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much first RP experience, I was always a cop on 13, I've been serving the law on 13 for almost more than a year now. There's obviously been changes, I saw the police department on 10, over a year, I saw them get kind of powerful and then completely fall apart. I saw the Pandahut Sheriff Department, which was a weak and struggling police department, go, die for a couple months and then come back all of a sudden, out of nowhere. I saw, because, on 10, there wasn't really an organized crime syndicate at the time. There wasn't really a crime syndicate for a while. It was just, a bunch of petty criminals. And then eventually, I started to see, people started to, make gangs and stuff. So eventually, yeah, we had, gang warfare, organized crime instead of petty criminals, ruling 10. That's at least what I saw, honestly, but you get so overwhelmed and stuff, sometimes you hardly even notice it at times. But yeah, so that's basically it. That's what I've seen over the years. Right, well, I started off as a normal RCMP. I was a massive noob, and I'm gonna say this now for any of you new people. Don't go RCMP when you first join. Try to go weaponsmith, get yourself some money before you make the leap to RCMP. Because I know people say, oh, you get a 200 bamboo salary, you should be fine, a 400 bamboo an hour salary. And to that I say absolutely not, because you end up spending so much of that. And if you're a new person like me, you're going to be arresting criminals, and you're probably going to get outgunned. So definitely try to make money. I joined the PSD on, I think it was late October, I think it was. If I go, let me check. November 12th. There we go. I joined PSD on November 12th, and I served them for a solid 8 months until they closed. I was elected mayor in February, and it was actually a really bad term for me. I didn't do much. I was really bad mayor. I became a chief in March, ran again in April. I lost, but the mayor resigned after 1 day, so I got my second term. I served the PSD loyally, became a deputy late April. I then continued going. I became a captain in June 20th, I think it was. June 23rd. I became a captain then, and then I stayed in PSD until July 30th, where I resigned from the position. I resigned from my position as in PSD, and then I didn't join a group. I then started the FBI. I appointed myself director, and despite contradicting public belief, I was actually planning on starting it for a while, and then it kept growing, and then I applied for mayor in October, won that by 20 votes, and then applied again in November, or last month, and won that election by 28 votes. And now I'm back to being captain. Well, alright, it's actually 100% fake news, and I can actually confirm that, considering I've been talking to Clockman, the original founder of PSD, about it the entire time. So, first off, let's go over the fact that everyone pretty much knew that PSD was dying. It was already in its grave at the time, and it was basically already on its deathbed. Yosef was becoming desperate for officers, a mafia boss could change the RCMP, and I wouldn't put it below Yosef to recruit them. And I'll look at the thing. If I look at the post, I found it. June 27th, I was already planning on leaving, but I was convinced by other PSD officers to stay. And then July 30th, my friends and we resigned from PSD. We were sick and tired of it. Yeah, the entire thing was fake news. It was all fabricated. In fact, there's numerous screenshots to prove this. We have screenshots of stuff such as Clockman telling Yosef to shut it down, and there's also screenshots of Yosef himself admitting the PSD is dead and dying. Yeah, I mean, honestly, 13 needed a stable police department, and I was able to give that to the people. No, the entire post was absolute bullshit, and everyone knows that. In fact, the whole lies about Duke and I co-conspiring to shut down PSD, that would make no sense considering Duke gave the PSD, I think it was 300,000. And I mean, I know you say oh Matt, you give the FBI that much money. Yeah, but at the time, mayors were giving the PSD literally nothing. And it's not only that, a lot of the PSD's funding went to waste considering they hardly spent it. They hardly spent it because no active officers would get on to claim their salary. And stuff like that. Yeah, pretty much. And yeah, that's it. Yeah, the entire thing was fake news. Yeah, I mean, players. There was only the one player, Nerdmaster, and I mean, we sorted the entire thing out. It was sorted. And even Yosef realizes that he was wrong. Well, okay, I'm gonna be honest. If you are thinking about starting a small police department, honestly don't. And there's a couple reasons why. First off, there's only one police region allowed per server, and that region goes to the FBI. The FBI has an extremely active roster of officers, and by just trying to challenge that, you're just bringing yourself you're bringing yourself grief. In fact, it even says in the laws, or at least used to, that the FBI is the official police group, and no other police groups are supported by the mayor's office, so you're basically getting yourself no money. Now, I actually did talk with the CPD, and we decided to actually merge, which I think was a great idea. They got their own division and everything, and, I really, if it was up to me, I would just tell them you can't run this police department, because, it's not just for me, but it's also just for their benefit, because they're just going to start losing money, recruitment's going to be down altogether. But it's not their duty to join the FBI, but it's a good idea. Achievements the FBI achieved over a couple months. We've confiscated over 250,000 bamboo worth of berries. We have had an active roster of officers since the very start. We have had groundbreaking officer care. Literally, we pay more than the PSD has ever done. Oh, include breakdownings of gangs. Alright, let's see, we shut down those Grim Corps. They were pretty, FTP, no, that wasn't us, that was PSD. Let's see, Black Hats, we didn't really kill them, but we were definitely, from what I heard from my undercover cops, especially, one who was a very senior member of the BH, Matt Newton was extremely paranoid of FBI interference, which I found hilarious. So I feel like, I just feel like, people say oh, the police department's pretty weak and corrupt and shit, but honestly, at the end of the day, you can run your little gang. The FBI is going to be coming after you because we have the resources, we have the money, we've been police raiding, we've been police raiding so many bases over the past couple of weeks. And a couple of them being white coats. The white coats haven't disbanded, and I'm not going to comment on whether or not they're inactive or not. That I can't tell you. I can tell you they have some good people on them. However, I feel like I'm obliged there to say that their days are clearly limited. And, the FBI has undercover cops everywhere. So, whatever bandit gangs will be taken down. So we took down the Grim Corps, we kind of took down the BH, I'll give that a quarter point. BMC took itself down, so that wasn't us. BMC 13, not BMC 10. I think, I'm not gonna say we did, but I'm pretty sure SOA is dead, and I feel like some of that was due to the FBI. We didn't harass them or anything, but we would raid their this guy called OK Lil Fangs, he was the vice president, he's actually running for mayor. We police raided his mansion, and it was a pretty big embarrassment for them. Yeah, SOA's dead. Whether or not it was directly caused by the FBI, you can never really tell, because what crime syndicate's gonna go, yeah, we were taken down by the FBI? No one, because one thing criminals love to do is bash the FBI. So, it wouldn't make sense for them to, admit we took them down. The FBI and shooting me up, we confiscated so much money worth of drugs, explosives, unlicensed weapons. if I check the logs, I think we have. Wait, let me check my spreadsheets. I'm pretty sure. How many arrests do we have? Criminal record. Here we go. Oh shit, we're getting into the quadruple. We have like 400 arrests. We have investigated and exposed mayoral candidates for being corrupted. Yeah. That's pretty much some of our main achievements. You know, I feel like every single kidnapping counted, raid stopped, robbery stopped, you know, berry farm raid is actually an achievement. Because, you know, it's actually quite hard to get evidence on a berry farm. Especially on 13, because they can hide in the ocean, and nobody is gonna be able to find that shit. It's gonna be like, you know, super hard. We need informants, which is one reason why the FBI has succeeded. What do you think about the present state of PEI? Alright, I'm gonna be honest, okay, as well as FBI Director standpoint. Well, my viewpoint on PEI is is that it's actually really stable. If you didn't know, the FBI has been more active than ever. We've had an amazing roster of officers. We've been cracking down on gang members. We've been like, you know, I'm like, you know, that, like, of course people are gonna go like, oh, you didn't counter this raid. Yeah, but like, no FBI officers are on and stuff like that. And, you know, I feel like, you know, PEI has become really stable. It was in quite a bad place during August when BH was around. And I will give BH credit, they did, you know, fuck up a lot of shit. But eventually, you know, BH is gone now, and now all they have is the white coats. And it's kind of weird because they're focused on 10 and 13, you know? And I feel like that's a bad idea because focusing on one server is better than focusing on two. But yeah, you know, I feel like PEI is actually slowly stable. Of course, there's always going to be a gang. Like, I can't even name a time when there wasn't a gang on PEI. But I mean, you know, I'd call, like, the present state of PEI pretty good. Life is good. You know, business is prospering. You know, like, if, let's say there was a gang war in progress, I would have called PEI a dangerous area at the moment. And, you know, if FBI wasn't around, I'm pretty sure it'd be a lot like Server 10, which is known for its gang warfare. But yeah, no, I feel like PEI's in a pretty good place at the moment. Well, I mean, what term? Do you mean my recent one or my first one, or like what? Recent ones. Well, I've actually, you know, it's actually really opened my eyes up, and I've really enjoyed my mayoral terms. I mean, okay, I resigned early, but you know, like, you know, a police captain off break of, like, police captain for 2 months? Yeah. Nah, I gotta take a break at some point, right? I've experienced, you know, surprisingly, in some of my terms, I'd have, like, gangs trying to bribe me. No one's trying to bribe me this time. And I'm actually quite happy about that, because I really hated having to tell them to piss off. You know, I just, like, I've enjoyed my mayoral terms, and I feel like I've actually made a very good contribution to crime. And I was talking to someone about this, and I was like, bro, I'm so tempted to just, like, resign from mayor and become captain again, right? And he was like, nah, you shouldn't, because, you know, with, like, mayor role, you can lead the police department, and that's true. I mean, you know, you sometimes see me leading some FBI agents, like, but I've definitely made a change. I've made tons of laws. They're nice and pretty good. They could be stricter, which is why I'm actually voting. I voted for Needless. You know, and he was a good vice mayor. But, yeah, overall, I've enjoyed my recent mayoral terms. And, yeah, they were pretty good, you know. Nothing really inspired me. It's not like I saw, like, a baby pigeon and it was like, oh, I should probably resign from mayor. What really happened was, like, alright, I saw the FBI. You know, we were doing all right, but they were looking for a captain. They were looking for captains, and I thought to myself, my term is basically over. You know, I'm not going to be mayor for much longer, so I don't see a point in, like, you know, staying as mayor. So I thought to myself, you know what, I could just be like a captain. You know, I missed that life. I missed arresting people, and yeah, you know, now that I'm arresting people again, I'm back on the streets, I'm having lots of fun. And I mean, it's not just say, like, when I was mayor, I wasn't continuing the FBI stuff, because I was genuinely continuing to be mayor. You know, I was still mayor and stuff. I was still helping the FBI, I was still paying salary and shit. But, you know, I guess what you could say what inspired me, what made me resign early was because I just missed being a captain. And, you know, I missed hanging out with my boys and, you know, getting into epic shootouts and stuff. Well, as an experienced cop, which raid such a kidnap situation was so shocking, I believe, man. Alright, well, I'll give you two, right? One of them was recent, okay? And the other one was a while back. So this one was back when I was a new RCMP, right? And it was my first kidnapping, or my first hostage situation. And they'd taken over the lighthouse, right? And they were keeping the hostage on top of that. Bro, and there were like 4 of them. I can't remember their names. And they had like grizzlies and timberwolves and shit. And as soon as a cop rescued, we just get like sniped at. And I was like, I didn't know what to do. I was just too shocked. I was like, alright guys, what do we do? And PSD was there and they were like, I don't know, Matt, what are we meant to do? I mean, eventually we had the bright idea of just like running up with shotguns and shit, but you know, it was actually really fun. It was a really fun, you know, kidnapping. As for a raid that blew my mind, I wasn't there, but it's just a story I was told. I mean, okay, I'm gonna give you a police raid and a normal raid, and they happen very close to each other. So, I'm pretty sure it was like 5 white coats and 2 Sons of Anarchy were raiding, right? They're raiding this drug farm, okay? It's in the water. 2 FBI agents, Dreamland and Yoshi, come over, and they fucking dome everyone. They're like, pop, you know, like everyone in the white coats dead. Everyone in the SOA dead. The only people that survived fucking ran like there was no tomorrow. And also a raid that blew my mind. This was a while ago. It was a couple months ago. It was when the FBI was around. We raided a base, right? It was a drug farm, and I thought to myself, oh, it's probably just a small drug farm. Didn't know the entire thing, just called the raid, right? We go inside to find like 50,000, 75,000 bamboo worth of berries just sitting there in plots, in lockers, in crates. And then we continued going and there were like fucking missiles everywhere and shit. And also, I'll give you this. Another thing that blew my mind, it wasn't because of how awesome it was actually because of how funny it was. The white coat, they had this berry farm. You know that Line Islands, right? There's this sort of dock area, and in between the docks there's this makeshift sort of thing where like 4 shipping containers are connected together, and they put a berry farm there, and it was so easy to find because we walked over it and we looked down and we just see like 500 berries growing. So we just called a police raid. And also, final raid that blew my mind, I was police raiding a BH base, and there were like 5 BH on, and there was like 5 FBI on. We were like raiding it. We were just sitting upstairs waiting for the BH to push, and they didn't do anything about it. They just sat down below. They weren't doing anything. They weren't trying to counter our raid at all. And I was just shocked because normally the BH is such a death before dishonor, guns blazing sort of group. But they just sat down there and waited for us to finish up, and then came upstairs. Totally, yeah, definitely. Arresting with the Cobra was really hard. Like, you know, I noticed, and I mean, I don't know if you can just pinpoint this to being a cop, but I know for a fact over this year, over the last year, I definitely changed. You know, I used to be a squeaky, immature, toxic kid, and now I feel like I'm not a squeaky, toxic, immature kid anymore. Changing status, obviously, considering I rose the ranks and one of the, most well-known police captains over 13. And yeah, no, I definitely got better at PvP. I used to be absolute ass. Just terrible. Let's see. I remember, okay, I was arresting this guy. I think his name was Drew. I can't remember what his name was. I don't know if it was actually him. So, I was arresting him. He hops inside his fucking plane, right? He's got like 500 berries on him. And he crashes into the, like, air traffic control tower at the airport. So he tries taking off and he crashes in there. What else happened? Oh, I remember, bro, like, some guy, I killed him during an arrest. He got so pissed off. He fucking brought a tank and like 10 rockets and started firing them at the FBI HQ. And he was like, why isn't this thing breaking? And I'm like, bro, it's a region, you can't break it. And he just like said, fuck this shit, and drove off. And something that made me emotional. I mean, I don't really get that emotional over Pandahut that often, believe it or not, Top 10 anime betrayals, that made me sad. But, I feel like what kind of made me a bit emotional was that I actually feel like I have a place in this community now. I don't feel like I'm some sort of like, I don't feel like an outcast really. And I feel like, I'm actually part of this community. And it's not like a server I just play on and off. It's like a server which I've dedicated so much time into, and I really enjoy playing. Oh, alright, let's see. Grenade incident out the way, not gonna cover it anymore. Let's see. I remember I used to play at a time where tons of fucking Portuguese and Brazilian kids would be on. And like whenever I had to ban them, I had to go into Google Translate and like translate what I was saying to them. And then I'd translate what they're saying to me and it'd be like racist or some shit. And like, yeah, I'd get like, yeah, they'd be like, oh, mod experience, getting demoted twice. Yeah, that was good. Mod experience, let's see. Actually, I am mod. Was super mod. Let's see, mod experiences. Dude, banning a guy, right? I banned this guy, and then he went on the Discord and faked some DMs to get me demoted, and then Miku took one look at them and was like, yeah, Matt Cobra conveniently sends a DM to himself. And yeah, bro, like I got like, there isn't really that much mod experience, it's just like banning people and doing the occasional like complicated thing, like, oh, like, I'm not gonna mention names, but there's someone out there who likes to go into the rules and nitpick and like makes up bullshit situations that would happen once every year and no wants to know an exact answer, and I'm just like, I don't know, ask someone else. But yeah, that's pretty much, most of my mod experiences right there. Well, I'm blessed enough to have a group of very, very, very great leaders below me that are able to keep the cogs turning. Yoshi's an absolutely amazing person. Needless meaning, he can be good too. I do go sometimes through real life stuff, and I let them know, and I tell them who's in charge. And I have some amazing officers. They really understand whenever I'm going through something that I need to like take some time off. Same with the RP staff team. They're a very understanding group. But yeah, like I've got an amazing set of leaders who are able to continue keep the FBI group moving. There's only been a couple of times in which like every single leader's had to go on break, so it'd be like really bad. But it doesn't happen very often, and I'm glad it doesn't. But yeah, they're normally very good at keeping the metaphorical cogs turning. Alright, well, yeah, I'm 14 at the moment, I'm turning 15. Favorite stuff I like to do at IRL, hang out with my friends, like, I've got, believe it or not, like, some person, like, saying, I do have a social life. I know this is gonna sound really, I'm a very avid cyclist. I'm like, I'm not competitive or anything, but, like, when the weather's right, bro, I could be out for, like, hours just on my fucking bike. Like, it's like a proper racing bike, too, so, I love motorbikes. I know it's gonna sound weird considering I don't sound like the type of person who does, but I love motorbikes. Favorite stuff to do over. I love walking my dog. Isn't that right, Lucky? You gonna say anything? No? Alright. Let's see, I love hanging out with someone who I'm not just going to disclose in real life, because privacy things, but let's just say she's alright. And, yeah, pretty much, yeah, I have a couple hobbies and stuff, And, I know it's not my favorite thing to do, but I spend a lot of time studying. Because in England we have this thing called the GCSEs, and I have to study really hard for them in order to get some good grades. Well, I mean, I used to, at least, but I used to play a lot of CSGO, but I don't really anymore. I used to play lots of Payday 2. Again, I don't really more. I mean, like, I feel like I'm obliged to play Unturned as much as I can, considering I'm an RP staff member, and, I want to just play, I need maintain an active schedule and play Pandahut RP as much as I can, and, yeah. Alright, well, I mean, if you're asking how to be Matt Cobra, BestCobra, pretty simple. Well, I mean, give some advice being a good cop. First off, I'm not gonna say join the FBI because that just seems really tacky. Honestly, never take bribes. Listen, alright. I was in a position where, like, years ago, where I was really poor, but I was a cop. And no matter what, I wouldn't take any bribes, and look where I am now. Never take bribes, okay? Never negotiate with, okay, take that back. Negotiate with criminals during a kidnapping or something, but never negotiate with a criminal. Being a good cop is all about maintaining a respectful attitude. You don't need to be a PvP god. What you need to do is respect that, people play the servers. You have to respect that your job is a pretty simple job, and that is to save lives. And if you aren't prepared to do that, if you aren't prepared to risk your loot for someone, then then I wouldn't even consider you an RCMP officer. To be a good mayor, pretty simple. Prioritize the people before your bank balance. I've made this mistake before myself, where, like, I've kept some money that I should have probably spent on the police department and stuff. But, yeah. Being a good mayor is all about prioritizing the people before yourself, and that's the same for cop. It's pretty simple. as to be like the legendary Matt Cobra, honestly, I'm gonna say this. Once you don't ever become toxic. Don't let yourself get so tilted, because once you do that, you're pretty much signing yourself, like, not gonna mention names, but many toxic people lose all respect in the Pandahut community. And, even if you're a bandit, bro, like, even if you're a friggin' kidnapper or a gang leader, once you start becoming toxic, you've basically ruined your entire image. No one's gonna like you and take you seriously. And just don't be toxic, maintain a cool, calm, try not to get tilted, and, just behave yourself, right? Try to follow all RP rules and don't try to find, loopholes. What's your advice for some of the experienced patients you want to become just like you? First off, keep your distance from grenades. Secondly, I'd recommend getting to know the community first. I see many new players with like 10 hours applying for a moderator, and I want to tell them, no, that's not how it works. You need to maintain activity, and you need to show that you're mature. I've made a mistake a couple times. I've been immature during my mod thing. In fact, it led me to get demoted once. I've also, I've done things that I regret, and honestly, everyone makes mistakes sometimes, and it's understandable, right? But at the end of the day, a moderator's job is to represent, our most important thing is maintaining professionality at all times, right? And if you aren't going to be professional, if you're going to be toxic and stuff, then you shouldn't be trying to get mod. Just like honest opinion. Because once you start becoming toxic, you've basically, just asked your stuff to get declined. As an FBI director, what all stuff do you see importantly? Okay. So now, alright. First off, I want to see effort, right? I don't want to see people with one word or one sentence answers to the questions. I mean, okay, the exception being stuff like, what's your Steam ID? You can answer like one word question, like answers to those. But, if you're gonna put like, why do you want to join FBI? Because I want to keep PI safe. That's not good enough. You need to genuinely show effort. And unfortunately, and I don't know why, we don't really care about with like some applications that get accepted of such low quality. And I don't know why we accept them, but I love it when I see a person, an applicant, who puts effort into their application. What would you see important? If you want to join the FBI, here's what I recommend. First off, talk to an FBI agent. Every single FBI agent will tell you the exact same thing. You can either join our cadet program, or you can apply on the forums. Get to know, FBI agents, because once you get those vouchers, it's going to be a lot easier. Okay? If you want to join, you need to show that you basically understand, that you understand how to be a police officer, okay? And if you can't do that, then you aren't, fit to be a RCMP. And secondly, and I've seen people do this all the time, if you're applying because you want some of that sweet salary, get out, because that's not how it works. Or I'm kind of sick if you couldn't tell, by the way. Which do you prefer, good PvP skills or experience? That's actually quite a tricky one, and at the end of the day, I don't think I prefer any. If you're a good PvPer, you can become a good cop, and if you're experienced cop, you can become a good PvPer. At the end of the day, I'd much rather have more experienced cops than good PvPers, because, okay, let's say, we have like there's a kidnapping, right? We have some good PvPers, and we have a few good PDPers, but tons of experienced cops, right? Who's gonna be the one that tells those good PDPers how to, like, save the hostage? The experienced cops. But if we had no experienced cops and we're just a group of good PDPers, then what are we gonna do, you know? We're gonna get nothing done. So overall, I prefer experienced cop, because at least they'll know what they're doing. Well, I mean, kingdom is a strange word to describe it, but we are planning on expanding. I'm trying to make it so that the FBI can hold 40 officers at one time, and ideally the FBI would be a very competitive police department to get into, and if you can't live up to our standards, you get kicked out. The FBI will be expanding, and that will starting to open a lot of divisions. But, you know, I'm just say this. So the FBI has, let me find it. Yeah, here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12. 28 officers at the moment, right? But, you know, it's unfair to say that we have just 28 people. There's 10 undercover agents, a few civilian helpers, you know. There's a couple of informants. It's unfair to just say like, oh, they have 28 officers, when in fact our officers aren't always, like, you know, seen. So, and answer that question, yeah. And also, we've recently, actually, speaking of expansion, we merged with the Chad Police Department. They've started a new branch in the FBI called the Heavy Response Team, and yeah, we're working on making more and more divisions, and yeah, eventually I'm hoping we can have an amazing division team, division officers and stuff. Yeah. You got any words to the audience in general, anything you want to say to them? Well, that means the interview's coming to an end. If you're a police officer on 13, take the advice I say, and feel free to apply for the FBI. If you're a gang member or you run a gang, the only things I'm gonna say for you is we're coming for you. Watch your back, because I mean, by the time this is probably released, you probably have like 10 undercover agents inside your group. So you know, and your mind games don't work. If you're a citizen, hope you have an amazing day, I guess, and remember that there's always FBI agents you can contact if you ever need them, and also don't forget Matt Cobra, BestCobra.
I'm